Greetings, CinemaBlend fans. I'm events editor Eric Eisenberg.
And I am staff writer Connor Schwerdtfeger.
And with the Avengers Infinity War now just a few weeks away from release, we are recapping all of the Marvel movies to date and seeing how they're going to influence the major Marvel blockbuster. Let's jump in. This week, we are taking you back to the year 2008 and the launch of the Marvel Cinematic Universe back in May of that year. Of course, I am referring to Jon Favreau's Iron Man and Louis Leterrier's Incredible Hulk. Now, obviously, these are the two movies that launched the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
That is significant in and of itself. But if we're really just going to start at the top here, I think we need to talk about the introduction of Tony Stark.
That's right. Iron Man. So it's the thing that kicked off the MCU. It's Robert Downey Jr., who is the face of the MCU at this point. I mean, even today, with all the heroes that have been introduced, he's kind of the go-to guy, which makes Iron Man kind of required viewing for
Absolutely.
the MCU.
You have to, I mean, it's an understanding of just kind of the entire tone of this kind of universe that it takes. It's obviously going to always balance that action and comedy, which has just been a staple of this franchise from the beginning.
I'm the best.
This really was the beginning of the age of heroes for the MCU, and Tony donning that first Iron Man armor, that is a watershed moment for the MCU of like modern superheroes now exist.
And more than that, I mean, the fact that you have that press conference at the very end where he announces that he is Iron Man.
I am Iron Man.
Which, you know, Vision, even in Captain America Civil War, points out as like the specific moment that clued everything in.
In the 8 years since Mr. Stark announced himself as Iron Man, the number of known enhanced persons has grown exponentially.
We also have to realize that this is a movie that introduced a number of the incredibly important supporting characters who will be playing a huge role in Infinity War. You have James Rhodey Rhodes, aka War Machine, albeit, you know, not the Rhodey Rhodes that we know, and actually did not become War Machine at that point.
Next time, baby.
Gwyneth Paltrow's Pepper Potts, we know is going to be in Infinity War.
Yeah.
And Nick Fury, who we can't obviously ignore as the guy who brought the Avengers together. Coulson, do you think he's going to appear?
I would love it, but let's be real, the odds of that actually happening, I would ballpark really low.
He spent he was the glue for so long, you'd love to see him,
and
but
we will get to that in a later episode,
Very
but
true,
he is someone that we will be talking about further as this series progresses.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's discuss, what would you say out of 10 would be Iron Man's impact on the future of what we see in Infinity War?
In the grand scheme, it's important. I don't think it's the most important. I would give it about a 6.5 out of 10 in terms of how important it is towards Infinity War, just for like the basic core elements that it sets up.
Now, let's move into the movie that came out just a couple months later, Louis Leterrier's Incredible Hulk, which, you know, not necessarily reflected on as the best of
I will
Marvel.
say, I think it's underrated as hell. I really like this movie a lot.
Well, I mean, I will say one thing for it is the fact that it like, weirdly, with it being just the second film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it already introduced audiences to a completely separate tone. I mean, Incredible Hulk is not a comedy film, and it kind of immediately established the kind of tonal balance that could be created.
I think it's the darkest Phase 1 movie. It's serious. It takes itself seriously. Edward Norton's Bruce Banner, which, you know, obviously
changed. Yes.
That changed, but he was a good banner for what they were trying to set up, this tragic hero, and that's a narrative thread that has been carried through every Hulk appearance, even up till Thor Ragnarok.
Absolutely. And also, we can't ignore the influence of General Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who made his debut in that film, which it's a role that you didn't actually get to see come back until Captain America Civil War.
And then, obviously, references to the super soldier serum.
Of course.
They laid that narrative groundwork, which would come into play later for Captain America, the first Avenger.
And we also just finally have to mention the fact that while Incredible Hulk is technically the only Marvel Studios film that doesn't have a post-credit scene, it does have the first cameo from Tony Stark.
Which is
the
just
first time.
such a good scene.
It is. It's a great scene, and it's a great little button at the end of the movie.
This set up the idea of a superhero team being established. That was, with that scene, it became very clear.
What if I told you we were putting a team together?
Hulk has since appeared in Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Thor Ragnarok, and obviously will be
seen him
major player.
in the trailers for
and
Infinity War.
as we continue this video series, we will talk about the mental development of Hulk, which has been an important thing. But just discussing Incredible Hulk by itself, what would you say the impact of Infinity War is?
In the grand scheme of the 18 movies that have been released, I'd give it lower into about a 3.5 or a 4.
Yeah, I'm about there too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the reality is, yes, we will see, we'll see Hulk come back, we'll probably see Ross come back. The rest of the supporting characters, like, can we expect Liv Tyler's Betty Ross?
I would like it.
It would be cool. It would be super cool.
Yeah.
And Kevin Feige has gone on the record saying that every single movie has its own little piece that winds up in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to see the leader. I'd love to see the return of the Abomination. There are many things I'd love to see in Infinity War. But as far as expectations go,
Yeah.
that's certainly on the lower end of the scale.